let me say something, okay?
Here she goes.
I thought we were having a conversation where I was just being chill, okay? But apparently, that's not. I'm too chill. So now I gotta turn the up. So all of you out there watching me, I'm about to unleash the beast on this mother, and you're all gonna wish you didn't even have me on this podcast. Wow. What's the next question?
I think this is WWE right now.
What's the next question?
We came back hot.
Yeah, man.
She had 2 of these, so she's ready to rock.
I was I had 2 of these, and I was super chill.
All right, we are back, and we have a really special guest today, Brittney. How are you, by the way?
I'm good. How are you doing, Dingo?
I'm just figuring out that my microphone's not right.
Yeah, because we didn't do a mic check 5 minutes ago.
Mic check. Mic check. No, we're good now. I am doing pretty good. This is gonna be our last show of the year.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, 2024. Gone.
Just like that, gone. And we have our guest here, and I got to hang out with Nina Drama. Let's make it up for her. Let's make some noise.
Woo!
Thank you.
We got to hang out. The first time we met, we went snowboarding.
The first time we met, we were at Power Slap, and you were slapped.
No.
Remember Power Slap?
Yeah.
You don't remember?
You slapped me?
No, you were slapping yourself.
Oh, what do you mean?
You don't remember a Power Slap?
No.
You like lifted your shirt up to show everyone your
6-pack?
And you
your
slapped
tits.
me?
No, you were slapping yourself.
That's when we first met.
That's when we first met. You don't remember.
That's a great way to meet him.
Yeah,
Just
I never
to
forgot.
see his body.
And then we went snowboarding together.
Then we went snowboarding together.
Where did you snowboard?
We snowboarded at Lee Canyon.
Oh, no. How was
It was
that?
actually kind of sick.
Really?
No,
Yeah.
we had a
I learned how to snowboard on that mountain.
Yeah, it's actually like a sleeper of a mountain. It's small, but it had snowed a lot, so it was actually really sick.
And he showed up. It had just snowed.
Uh-huh.
The roads were horrible. There's like 5 foot of snow all around. Can I curse on this?
Yes.
Yeah.
This motherfucker shows up in his Maserati.
Oh, yeah. What else are you going to drive up there?
Yeah.
He was the only one in the parking lot. And he
Like,
fit
look at
all-
Hollywood coming over.
Low key, I thought that I was gonna. Yeah, I've driven on snow my entire life, so I'm not like that's not something that I'm. But I was like, man, could go 2 ways right here, and it was like there was no problems, but it was one of those. It's
a good car.
It could have got bad, but it didn't. So touch wood that. Yeah. Anyway. It was really, the roads were bad. Like, I drove from LA to Vegas that trip. It was it Super Bowl weekend? It was Super Bowl weekend.
I think it was.
Yeah, and for the first time ever, I'd noticed, and this is like maybe like an hour and a half out of Vegas, when you go up into the hill, there was snow on the road.
Yeah.
Like, on the freeway.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, this could not be good.
Yeah, I remember leading up to Lee Canyon, all those, there are all these chains,
Mm-hmm.
and I've never been in like that part of. Oh no, that's in Nevada. We're talking about 2 different.
Oh my God, we're talking about 2 mountains. All right, so Nina Drama, you have so 11 million followers on social media accounts, and I would say that you are the new media face of UFC. Is that like a good? No.
I don't know. I think I'm a face of. I'm a face.
You're
I
a
have
face?
one. I'm a face. I have one. but yeah, of UFC, I wouldn't say the media face, but I'm a face.
I would say I see more of you than I see anyone else now. I would say I see more of your face than I do anyone else's. But in a good way. Like,
Yeah.
You're funny, you're like bubbly, you're like you have found a way into, I would say, a sport that is probably pretty well protected. And over the last few years, whatnot, you have become I think somebody that people look forward to. And not only that, like the relationship you have with the fighters is a relationship that that they are comfortable with you. So their comfort with you is the reason why we get to see, I think you bring out a lot of these athletes' personalities that maybe some people aren't used to seeing. And it's been really cool over the last few years to see you grow into this kind of character that I think people look forward to. And I think it's just because you're kind of yourself.
Yeah, I don't know who else. I've tried. Like, I think I've tried, like, growing up. It's interesting, like, growing up, I don't think I talked until I was like 5. I didn't speak to anybody except for my mom and dad. I was really quiet, super introverted. I had a hard time in school because I didn't want to, like, play with other kids and stuff like that. Not because I didn't like other kids, I just didn't understand, like, the dynamic so much.
Yep.
And I think as I got older, I was like, okay, well, in order to be like everyone else, you kind of have to learn to be like everyone else and, like, how to play, how to communicate. So I was super focused on not being the weird one of the group every time, and I was always the weird one of the group. And I think as I got older, I just sort of embraced being that only child, like the weirdness of being an only child and doing things a little bit differently. And I was like, well, this is what it is. Like, I don't know how to be anybody else but myself. So, and now I'm here.
Yeah, you're here.
Now I'm here, yeah.
Do you ever have like moments where you feel like that introverted kid comes in? Like, I mean, because like you said, and to piggyback off what you said, you were one of my favorite like new additions to UFC. And after working with UFC as long as I have, it's just what the sport I really think needed. And it's like I didn't realize how much it needed it until you showed up. And it's just like this positive, bubbly, really just yourself person. And I think it influences other women and men all across to just be themselves and not really be afraid of who they are. And I think that that's beautiful that you said about when you were younger. So do you ever feel like that nervousness kind of come back?
Oh, that was really nice of you to say that. That was really sweet. Always, even now, like I feel it now.
Are you nervous right now?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm always. I think it's just part of my. I can't get rid of it. You know.
Well, how do you think you earned, like, what do you think, why do you think that you gained the trust of these athletes? Or do you think that was something that you had to come in and work for? Or do you think that was something that came naturally? I feel like maybe in the beginning it was not as easy as it maybe looked.
Like coming into the community?
Yeah, 100%.
No, every day is a struggle. Every day every day is a struggle. But I mean, good and bad, like I love it all. Like, I wouldn't change it. I think the community is probably one of the hardest, most brutal communities to be a part of, like the MMA community. And it's just the way it is, and it's like you have to sort of be prepared and wrap your head around it. And be like, okay, this is how it's going to be. Can you handle it? Can you handle the pressure of all this? You know, and you just have to suck it up. And
what do you think the hardest part versus the best part about being like getting into the community?
Well, so when I first started, it's something that I had always wanted to do, was to interview fighters, but I didn't know how. So when I had modeled for 12 years, but it was so not fulfilling at all. I was grateful. I got to do a lot of things. I had a great career, but it just felt really vapid after a while, and there wasn't anything satiating about it. Every day I didn't want to be a part of the industry anymore. And it was interesting because COVID hit, and it was the time that I wanted to sort of separate myself and kind of move out of the industry, but I didn't know what else to do with myself. I spent 12 years in the industry and, like, in the heart of the fashion industry. And you okay, Dingo?
Yeah, I'm good. Well, no, I have the live chat here, so
They're
I just
back.
kind of like popped it up.
They're back, so you know.
Oh, nice.
Is a live chat okay?
Live chat's good.
The live chat's great.
Hey, guys, and also, now that you see Nina and Brittney in here, drop some questions in. Also, we're going to be giving a year's supply of Monster Energy away. We'll drop a trivia question in, which I should have hit earlier, but I'll make that up throughout the show.
Dingo, you're doing a great job. You're doing a really great job. You're doing really great. But to answer your question, like I said, it was always something that I wanted to do. I just didn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't know if, when I was modeling, I tried to implement social media. You know, when I first started, social media didn't exist. We
Yep.
didn't have Instagram. We didn't have. You had Facebook, but it wasn't used as a way to like market yourself. It was a way to talk to family, talk to friends, and all that kind of stuff. And man, I remember getting Facebook. You could only get Facebook if you got accepted into college.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it was a very long time ago. I'm like dating myself right now. So when I started modeling, there was no social media. And, you know, we had to walk around with our physical portfolios and go casting to casting. And
Oh, the good old days.
I didn't even have, like, a smartphone. Like,
Yeah.
I would print all my directions out, and I would have to go to my castings like this. And then a couple years in, Instagram popped up, and it was still just a photo app. And I remember going to a casting for the first time. And, you know, whenever you go in, it's like name, agency, height. And then your the email address of your agent. And then they started putting this column for like social media followers, like Instagram followers.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, what is that? What the hell are Instagram followers? And then some girls had like 10,000. You're like, how the hell where do you get 10,000 followers from? And so in the beginning, like a lot of models were like, no, this is just a phase. We don't need to like waste our time on social media. And I was like, why is anyone going to want to look at pictures of my face?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have a whole grid of just, like, selfies. Just the word selfie was, like, triggering to me. I was like, I'm not doing this shit.
Yep.
Then my agent was, like, always very ahead of the time. So he was like, no, you got to get on social media. You got to do this. Look at this model. So I was like, I don't know. I think it's going to phase out. Lo and behold, I was going to castings. You see a lot of the same girls from, you know, just years of the same thing. And then girls had like 70,000, 300,000. And you're like, whoa, I'm falling behind here.
Mm-hmm.
And then those were the girls that started booking. And you're like, but we've been busting our ass, like starving ourselves for years, breaking our feet. Like my feet are broken
Yeah.
from just years of torture. And then, you know, Instagram popped up and you're like, wow, this is the new wave and this is not going anywhere. So our agents were like, you have to get on, you got to do this, you got to. So we're like, okay, fine. So then we started fumbling around with the apps. A lot of girls I saw were like, I'm not doing it. Then they sort of fell off. And then you started to see like the rise of social media within the industry. And you're like, this is way more important than anyone ever thought it would be. Cut to 8 years later, you know, you amass a following, you use it for marketing. It's just an extra when it comes to brands. Like, okay, you do the editorial, but like, what else do you have to offer? Do you have a personality? Can you market this? Can you put it on your social media? And that was like the deciding factor for whether or not you were going to book the editorial or the cover or the campaign. And you were seen as like, okay, she might have been shot with the best photographers, walked all the shows, but she doesn't have the following we need. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of how they determined your worth in the industry at a certain point.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
That, like, there was a time, I come from the time before there was any of that.
Yeah.
You know, when we had the TV show, that's how that kids would turn on the TV to the way that they look at social media now.
Yeah.
And your worth was it's so wild to see how it changed so quickly. And even like you think about actors now and all sorts of it's really what your worth is your social following on what you can do to be a part of the project, which never used to be the case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was hard because you were like, well, what am I busting my ass to have a portfolio to do all of this because you have this relationship with photographers who are artists. It was an art, fashion's an art, you know, styling's an art. All of this is, you look at modeling now, it's not the same.
Yeah.
So it's like when you're trying to introduce and say like, this is the way it used to be, people now they're like, okay, well, I can do that.
Yeah.
And it's like not the same. You know, the production's not the same. It's just not the same. But long story short, I was done with the industry. I didn't really want to be a part of it anymore. I have to speak louder. I didn't want to be a part of it so much anymore.
Yeah, they want you to talk louder.
I have to talk
louder. We also
louder.
turn her up. Is there a way we can turn her up there?
Okay, the chat. How close do I?
Yeah, there you go.
have
Just
to
go a little
deep throat
closer.
this?
Because
Yeah.
you are very monotone, which I've never seen. I'm used to you kind of being...
Oh, sorry.
There's like, this is the monotone.
It's like a brain massage, though. I kind of like it. Like I'm
I'm
like,
Your
sorry.
voice
I
is
enjoy
like,
it.
It's so
My normal voice?
It's very
Soothing.
soothing.
yeah.
Oh no. I don't want to put them to sleep.
No.
I
Everybody's
don't put
very
her in
intrigued, and I am too.
Yeah.
Okay. Long story short, you know, I higher. Okay, higher. Damn. See, this is why I don't
You're doing great.
do podcasts.
No.
Long story short, so I started using the app for what it was intended for. And I started to see like positive results where I was like, okay, I'll just keep doing it. And I hate it. I hate taking pictures. Even to this day, I do it because it's like you kind of have to. It's promotion. It's marketing. It's people are like, you just want to see the likes and views and you just care about. I'm just using my assets to market myself so that this gets the intended views for like what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to promote this like interview. I'm trying to promote this I need to drive engagement. How do I drive engagement? What's the best way to do it? And whatever I have to do to get the job done, and I don't mean that in any weird way, I'm going to use all of my resources in order to do that. And that's what I've learned over the years. You can't say like, oh, I'm too good to do this, or I'm not going to do that. Or at a certain point, it's like, you just got to do what you got to do. At the end of the day, if your intentions are good and your point is to get something across that's for like the better of something else or someone else, it's like if my job is to like promote this fighter, I'm gonna do that, and I'm damn sure gonna be the best at doing it. I'm not gonna half-ass anything. So when it came to modeling, it was the same. And as soon as the app started changing into video, I was like, why don't we like introduce like comedy skits or something funny to try to drive the engagement up so that I can have clients look at book more campaigns. You know, if my engagement goes up and you see how many views I got on my videos for doing comedy, whatever. I remember the first time we posted a comedy skit, like it went viral. And I had never had a video go viral. It got put on like World Star. And I was like, oh, I can do this. So I kept doing it. We kept doing it. And my agency was like, Calvin Klein's not going to book you if you keep posting these videos. And I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? Like, if I just keep doing the same mundane thing, I'm not going to get the engagement or whatever you're asking me for. And then I do this and I see a positive result, but you don't want me to do it because I don't care if Calvin Klein doesn't book me. At the end of the day, I'm using this app because I see a future in it down the road. Because you started to see it started shifting the entire industry.
Yeah.
Long story short, COVID came. I was like, I'm done with modeling. I don't want to do this anymore. The fashion industry started to die out. And we started to like full on go into like produced skits. And like my dream was to do like my own Key and Peele show. We had moved out to Southern California. I started working with other people, seeing how they produced skits. We were filming things that took like 9 hours. It would go into production. We would create these, and I was like, this is what I want to do. And during COVID, I was the highest, the fastest growing content creator in my vertical.
You know, it's crazy. Comedy. No one knows how long that takes. 8 to 9 hours per skit. Like people, like the skits are what, a minute?
They're a minute. It would take like 8 hours to film it.
And then what were those skits?
So what we were trying to do in the beginning was like, I was like, okay, because I was still modeling a little bit, and I was like, well, how do I take something that's relevant in the modeling industry and then transcend it into comedy, so that I could also keep the doors open, you know? But they were just, I don't know. I gotta pull them up. I gotta show you. They're just comedy skits.
Just like random.
I'm nowhere near Key and Peele, but it was like SNL type skits and stuff like that. Yeah. So that was our focus for a long time, and then we would do like shorter clips and skits that would go viral because the longer ones are a little harder to go viral because of the time and stuff like this.
Yeah.
So sometimes the shorter the video, the faster the punch. The first 3 seconds there's a whole
and then these
there's an algorithm
there's a whole thing to it. Yeah.
These were split up over Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Yeah. So COVID is when TikTok started coming up, and I was like, well, if I hop on this now when it's popping and everyone's jumping on it, that's sort of when it started to become a thing. I was like, maybe I can get ahead of the game, and we filmed. It's going to sound crazy, but every day we filmed 7, 11, 2, 4, and 7. I was posting on TikTok.
Oh, you had like a time. You had your algorithm.
Yeah. So the day before, like at night, we would go through and say, okay, this is what we're going to film tomorrow. We had a whole content schedule, and the next day we would film all of that because I was like, we're going to get 1 million. I want to get 1 million followers on this app so that I can reach out to brands and I can start doing ads and stuff like this and monetize it because I wanted to get away from. I didn't want to keep getting dragged back into the industry.
Yeah.
And it's very enticing, you know, like you're in it so long, people know you, people want to keep. I just didn't want that to be it. And I didn't want to be a comedy content creator forever. Yeah. It was just for the time, but I enjoyed it. And we did really well. And then after a while, I was like, what I really want to do is this. Like, I really want to interview fighters. I love MMA. I grew up doing karate. My mom was a martial artist. I owned a boxing gym. This is what I want to do. But it's like, how the hell do you just keep changing modeling to comedy content to MMA content? It's like, my audience is like, what the fuck are we doing? But they stayed. They stayed. I once I got to the MMA community, it was an interesting like crossover, but I was like, well, how do I take comedy and how do I take MMA and turn it into comedy so that everybody can absorb it, not just like the niche MMA demographic,
Did you have like a host or like an interviewer that you like looked up to?
No, well, I mean, not necessarily, because what I wanted to do didn't feel like it really. I just wanted to do something really different.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be influenced by anyone else, because I didn't want to piggyback off of anybody else's style. I was like, if I just stay in my own lane and I just create my own type of like original idea or concept, it might not work in the beginning, but if I keep at it and keep like tweaking it and keep changing it and maybe the pacing or the structure, I think it'll work.
Yeah.
Something like this doesn't exist, so it's going to be kind of weird in the beginning. But if I keep working at it, I think it could work. And I mean, here we are, so.
Smart. Really smart.
You've connected with the most, famous all-time fighters of all time.
But I also think, like, when you said you took your followers along for the ride, it's like, hey, you like me, then you'll like what I like. And I like MMA. And you'll see why I like it. And I think that you're also, like, that's why UFC just made such a great choice to trust you and your vision. It's like, now you're bringing a whole different audience if they weren't already fans, They're like, dang, this is cool. They are funny. Or, like, maybe they're not funny, but it's funny because she's funny, Like, it's a whole...
It's been cool, like, years and years ago, like, we watched all the fights, and I remember, I don't want to get in trouble for this, but I used to stream them like live on my Instagram, and I used to like have a microphone.
And she's like the new Joe Rogan commentating.
Yeah, so like people didn't know because it didn't live on my feed, so there wasn't like physical permanent evidence that I used to do this. But every fight I would go live and I would stream the fight, and I would just start commentating on the fights and who's for boxing, for MMA, for everything. I was like, I'm gonna be I just wanted to have MMA a part of my life, and I did this for every fight for like years. So like people that had followed me for a long time, they knew that. Like even when Triller was doing like the boxing and stuff like that, I was working with them, and I had proposed this idea, like, let me interview the fighters, let me do it, let me be a part of it this way, because they wanted me to create content. And I was like, I really want to be a part, like an intimate interview session or something. Like, let me do it. Mm-hmm. And it took a year of like begging them to let me interview the fighters, interview the boxers. I had like a whole spreadsheet. I had a PowerPoint. I met with all the executives. We had Zoom calls. I'm like proposing, let me do this. I want to create this type of content. I know this will go viral. Like, let me interview the fighters. Let me interview the boxers. And they're like, we don't really think. And then lo and behold, I get the chance to go to an Apex fight. I was like, this is it. I've never gotten to go to an Apex fight. I don't even know how you get these fucking tickets. Like, I
don't think they did tickets in the beginning.
No, they didn't.
No. So my friend, I feel like I'm talking too much.
I think that's the point of the podcast.
Oh, it feels like too much.
You're good. No,
you're good. You're like,
we're in.
Sorry, I don't. Okay.
You're telling your story.
I know, but it's
that's why you're here.
So long.
Yeah, but we have time.
I just feel like I'm talking too much about like bullshit. I don't even know what I'm saying.
No, but you're talking about how you got started into this, and that's basically what we want to know.
Right.
So keep going.
And then also, like, okay, so Monster Energy, the roster's huge. So, like, from legends, John Jones, Alex Pereira, to upcomers like Royal Rosas Jr.
Yeah.
Yep. How do you approach connecting with such a wide variety of athletes and how do you approach kind of, all right, a John Jones approach is going to be different from, like, an up-and-coming fighter?
Yeah. Well, it goes back to... So it's kind of weird. It goes back to like when I was a kid and I was like studying other people and like how they are, how they react, what their behavior is. I always had this. I was just drawn to it. So like I'm looking at you. I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable, but I'm looking at you right now, right?
Oh, you're not making me uncomfortable.
Okay, no, but I'm saying like I'm watching, like I'm looking, okay, how you dress, how you wear your hair, how you wear your hat, how you wear your glasses.
Yeah.
how you talk, your pacing. I can't see your eyes because you have glasses on.
Yeah.
But like usually, like I'll monitor how much you swallow within the first 30 seconds or blink or stuff like this. Like what makes you dart your eyes. And
Yeah.
so I'm studying everything about you, like the way you're swiveling in your chair.
How am I doing?
You're doing great, Dingo. I love you. You know, your laugh, everything, like everything about you. I'm watching. So I'm like, okay, from in my mind, in my files, I'm like, okay, this person, I download all your information. This is going to sound so weird. I download like all of you. And then whenever I watch any content of you, I watch your videos, what you do, what you like, how you speak, who you're friends with. I just study you. And I'm like, okay, now I feel like I know you.
Yeah.
And I only really want to interview fighters when I feel like I know them so that they could feel really comfortable with me. So I don't like going into something. I'll do it and I'll just kind of like relax and be like, okay, let me see how much of them I can understand within the very few minutes of talking to them. Mm-hmm. So like I can feel their vibe and understand like how they work, and if they vibe with me, if I'm too much, I'll tone it down. If I'm not enough or they need, I'll heighten it, or do whatever I can to make you feel as comfortable as possible. But for all of the interviews, I pretty much take the first 2 weeks before any pay-per-view. I go through all of the fighters that that want to interview with me, and I study the shit out of all of them. So I watch everything, all their social media, all their videos, their fights, how they move, how they talk, all their press conference stuff. So that this way, like when I'm sitting down with them, I'm like, oh, okay, like this is what you like to talk about. I know this is what you're interested in. This is how I can. So it's a lot of that, and then also just like listening and making sure I'm not making sure like I was right in my studies.
Yeah.
Right.
If that makes sense.
What's the biggest challenge you have with a fighter that may not be naturally outgoing? Because I feel like some of them are so good in their way of they've created. I don't even want to. Oh, yeah, it's like I feel like Conor McGregor has brought so much to the sport that then just carried over in like a weird way.
Yeah.
To where like some of these guys are so good at their, and then some of them are not.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with the ones that naturally aren't that? You
That
know?
are like more quiet or introverted and stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Like sometimes we'll have interviews where it's like really hard to like.
Oh, get it out of someone.
Well, like we'll get like. For example,
Yeah.
you are not giving one-word answers, where
Yeah.
sometimes we'll do an interview and it's a one-word answer.
Yeah.
You're prying and trying to do anything to get them
Right.
to tell a story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, yeah.
Well, it's I don't know. I don't want to sound fucked up. My favorite show is Love on the Spectrum.
Yeah.
So, not that that's fucked up. Not that that's fucked. But I understand like this type of relationship. So it's like what I've noticed is, what are your interests?
Yeah.
What is this person's interest? What do they like? What makes them happy? So when I'm talking to someone who's like very introverted, I just start to ask. I start to like, okay, I know that they like soccer. So what's their favorite team? Okay, I know this is their favorite team. I know that 2 weeks ago they went to this game. So now I'm going to talk about this game. So slowly, like I start to talk to them about things that I know that they like, and then eventually they start to, oh, okay, oh yeah, and then you start to see. So it's like interest. It's always interest based. What are you interested in? How can I understand you better? And like I have a lot of interest in a lot of things. So whatever you're interested in, I can find something in there to be interested in too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always for what we do here. There are times when we're not at a desk like this, or we're not, and like it's just a chair, and we're in like a tattoo room or something. And I feel like there are ways to like, when you're interviewing some people, is to make
them comfortable.
You just want them to feel comfortable,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the reason why Howard Stern was one of the best interviewers of all time, with the most famous people in the world, is because Tom Cruise could walk in and sit down with this dude, or Matt Damon could walk in and sit down with this dude, and you're going to get the real Matt Damon. You're going to get the real Tom Cruise, which most of the world, or 99% of the other people that interview these people, can't do it, because there's a trust thing and they don't feel comfortable with those people, which is kind of what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think it's important too, like, I think people can always tell when you're not genuine.
Yeah.
You know, they always tell when you're trying to like get them with a gotcha moment, or
Yeah, 100%.
And you know what I always found interesting? You can tell the most on camera. Like,
Yeah.
if you're one-on-one, you can they can get away with not being authentic, but like on camera, it picks up more so that I've noticed.
Yeah, always.
It's wild.
Let me say something, okay?
Here she goes.
I thought we were having a conversation where I was just being chill, okay? But apparently, that's not. I'm too chill. So now I gotta turn the fuck up. So all of you out there watching me, I'm about to unleash the fucking beast on this motherfucker, and you're all gonna wish you didn't even have me on this podcast. What's the next question?
I think this is WWE right now.
What's the next question?
We came back hot.
Yeah, man.
She had 2 of these, so she's ready to rock.
I was I had 2 of these, and I was super chill.
Oh, there was a question in here I saw earlier. It was, what is your favorite drink? And they said, don't say the juice. Is it the juice?
The Rio juice?
Is that what you love?
I love the Rio, but I like the Rehab, this one, the iced tea, because it's good. It tastes like, I mean, it's juice, but it tastes like iced tea, and it gives you fucking like an
Gets
erection.
you all like fired up.
Yeah,
It's actually an
Huge
Arnold
hard-on.
Palmer, really. It's
Yeah,
tea
it's
and
an
lemonade.
Arnold
so-
Palmer. When I go to Applebee's, that's what I get.
What
Arnold Palmer.
At Applebee's?
Yeah, at Applebee's.
Yeah, okay.
Applebee's or you ever go to Cheesecake Factory? That's my favorite.
I love the Cheesecake Factory.
It's my favorite.
Yeah.
Arnold Palmer every day.
There you
I love
go.
it. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
All right, guys. Thank you,
Sorry.
everybody in the chat. The chat has been good. We're giving away a year supply of Monster Energy, and the trivia question is going to be, which we hit at the end. But what was Nina's favorite UFC moment?
There's so many.
Okay.
I have like a lot of favorite UFC moments, but for me, okay, my favorite UFC moment of another fighter or with me?
With you.
With me?
Or of another... Whatever.
Okay, my favorite UFC moment was when Sean won the belt because I was so proud of him. And
Were you
people
there? Wasn't
Yeah,
that
I
in
was-
Australia? You were there?
I was there in Australia. I was so
was-
fucking proud of him.
Yeah.
Because he like it just made me so happy that little fucking kid in him.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah,
won
yeah, for
something.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
the belt doesn't define anyone, of course. But it was like he fucking did it.
Yep.
You know, and I was so fucking proud of him. So that was one of my favorite moments.
It's a great answer.
I was there for when Conor. Thank you. I was there for when Conor and Khabib got into that fight like 8
In New
years
York?
ago.
Yeah.
And no, in Vegas.
Whoa, that was in Vegas?
And Khabib jumped Dylan. Is Dylan there? He jumped the cage, Khabib, to fight Dylan Dennis.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a pretty big
I
moment.
was there.
I remember that moment
Yeah.
also being like, I was watching on TV, but you would go to Twitter, now X, but there was like fights that were breaking out everywhere.
Yeah.
It
I was
like
cage
fights-
side.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put our hoods on over us and grabbed us by the back of the robes and just escorted us out.
That's
It was
crazy.
crazy.
That was wild.
There was a brawl. They were there for blood, man. They were gonna kill each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't my favorite moment, but that was the most memorable, I
Memorable.
think. Yeah.
I remember that
Memorable.
moment
That
being
one
like,
was
oh
wild.
shit, this thing's
I was like,
just
this
got
is
real.
serious. I was like, they're not I was like, I thought this was just a joke. No? This
Yeah,
is
that
serious.
was fun. Also, when Nate Diaz beat Conor, and he
Yeah,
was like,
I remember that too.
"I'm not surprised, motherfucker."
Yeah. On the bad motherfucker.
No, that wasn't.
No,
that
no,
was- no. That was just a.
It's just a fight.
just a
Yeah, yeah,
fight.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not surprised, motherfucker. I just love that.
I love.
Yeah.
I
'Cause
love
it's
both.
just
I
like-
love
I-
both.
I love both of
brothers,
them.
But that was a moment where you were like, oh, he's a bad.
Yeah.
Because he just like came in, he just did his thing.
And he
And
just
this
said
shit
it's
was-
so cool and
Yeah,
like
he was
so
just like-
nonchalant.
yeah.
He was like, yeah, I knew it.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew I was
They're
gonna
so
do it.
chill. They're so NorCal. They're
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they're like thugs,
They
They're-
are.
but they're
Friendly
sweet
thugs.
thugs.
They're your neighborhood thugs.
Okay, I have one. What's a memorable or unexpected moment you've had during an interview?
Oh, come on.
I want to know it. I feel like it's going to be good.
It's the Tom Aspinall question.
Well, what's that? I don't know that question.
Dude, we were having a super chill interview, super chill conversation. And this motherfucker looks at me and he goes, I love Tom Aspinall. He goes, well, I got a question for you. And I was like, oh, no one ever asks me questions. Okay, yeah. So I'm like kind of excited. You see me in my chair and I like hold my clipboard and I'm like, yeah, what is it? He goes, have you all ever been fingered by an MMA fighter? And I was like, what the fuck? Who says? I was like, Tom, we're recording right now. I'm looking at him like, don't, what? And he's like, and I was like, are we saying the same thing?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm trying to tell you, don't
Don't
that's
do
like,
that.
Don't do. And he was like, no, I'm just asking. And I'm like, no, I've never been fingered by an MMA fighter. What the fuck? And also, like, fingered, ew. What are we in third? Like, that's such a weird fucking thing to say.
That's
like,
high
ew.
school.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? And then he doubles down and he goes, he turns red. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? And I'm like laughing, but like the nervous laugh, because I'm like, this is actually really funny. But also, like, I'm scared because there's like PR. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? He goes, well, what would it take? And I'm like, Tom.
Wow.
Tom. But it's like, I thought it was funny. Like, at the end of the day, I thought it was funny.
Way.
People were upset with me for not being upset with him.
What? Yeah.
And I was like,
that's
but
the
if I'm not,
world we live in.
yeah, they wanted me to be offended, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not offended. I don't give a fuck. I was
Yeah.
just looking out for him. And then we edited the video, and I'm like, well, you know what's funny? It's funny, whatever. Like, if I don't give a fuck, why should anyone else give a fuck? That was the wrong. Apparently, you're not allowed to. Like, people have to give a fuck for
We
you,
live
and you
in
have
the
to.
craziest time.
Yeah. And so I sent him the video, and I'm like, okay, this is the interview. And I didn't even put it in the beginning to like clickbait anybody into like watching. I had it all the way at the end. I was like, it went with the flow of the conversation. So if he's cool with it, I mean, we leave it in, let it ride, you know? So he left it in, and I sent it to the video. I sent him the video, and I said, hey, review this, let your team look at it, whatever. Let me know if you like it, if you want me to take anything out. He answers me back. He goes, if it's all right with you, it's all right with me, boss. And I was like, all right, send it. You know what I mean?
Viral.
Let that shit roll. And we post it. It was like number 19, like minute number 19 in the video. I shit you not. 19 minutes and like 2 seconds after I post this video, my Twitter's blowing up. And I'm like, huh? And I look, and it's the one clip. Have you ever been fingered by an MMA fighter? And I said, man. And then he's like, what do we do? And I said, what do you mean, what do we do? You told me to post it. I posted it. And he was like, and I said, listen, don't worry about it. It's funny. It's fine. And he's like, well, maybe, and I said, well, why don't we spin it? And he's like, well, let's do this. I'm going to make a video.
Oh, great.
I'm going to make a video where I'm like, I'm doing this for all of the weird questions. I'm like, they're never that weird, Tom. There's a line, and I always tiptoe over the line, but I never go full, like in Tropic Thunder. I never do it. And I was like, there's a line. And he's like, well, why don't we just, I was like, well, he's like, we'll just spin it so it's like, I'm doing this for all the MMA fighters, all the weird questions you ever asked them. And I said, okay, Tom, whatever you want to do. So like we edited, he sends me the video. I was like, okay, yeah, this is good. He's like, you want to collaborate? I said, yeah, we'll collaborate on it. So it was kind of like we collaborated on the video to let everyone else know. It was just a joke. It's no need to be offended. Who gives a shit? Like, I don't care. I've never been fingered by an MMA fighter. I don't give a fuck. Like you shouldn't give a fuck either. But it's funny. He went on a bunch of podcasts and we're like, so Tom, where'd the question come from? And I'm just watching him. He's like, well, I'm like, no, really, where did the question come from?
Yeah, well, then he had to deal with it for however long.
But he's fine.
In a good way.
It's funny. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely my most memorable
Interview.
My most memorable interview, yeah. For sure.
You seem to spar a lot of guys.
What?
You're not afraid to jump in the ring with any of these guys.
I'm terrified.
Are you?
Yeah, because they don't realize how strong they are. They think they're going easy on you, and they're not.
Right.
But, I mean, they don't mean to, they're not like,
Yeah.
There's no ill intent. They're just trying to show you, but fighters just are different.
I don't know.
They're just built different,
No, it's true.
I have a video of you here with Marab.
Oh, he's crazy. I love Marab so much.
You're
I've never met
strong.
anyone with he weighs less than I do. I've never met anyone with a gas tank like Marab. Every time I try to end this vlog with him, he kept wanting to do more drills, and I'm like, I don't want to. Like, please.
I always thought that about the lighter weight class. Like they will go, and that's what makes them so fun
We
to watch.
filmed. It was supposed to be like a 20-minute long video. We were in there for an hour and a half. I'm like, I'm fucking exhausted, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, I want to show you this move. We're gonna do this move. But I didn't want to be a pussy, so I was like, all right, the more we film, the more content we'll have, the more I'll be able to like promote this.
Yeah.
Your fight. And I mean, the video did so well. I wore the wrong shirt, for sure. But I mean, they stayed in.
No, you wore the right shirt.
Thanks, girl.
You ever been hurt?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Dude, Sean almost fucking broke my leg.
Yeah, I could see that.
Well, he didn't mean to. He was so like, we were kickboxing each other.
Right.
And he was like, oh, I'm going to check one of her kicks. He said this to the camera. I'm going to check one of her kicks. And out of nowhere, I go to throw a kick, and he checks it with his shin. And his shin is made of, he's gotten in like a motorcycle accident, so he's like a metal bar in his shin.
Oh, God.
And he has so many like calcified bone. It's like this, you've seen x-rays. He showed me x-rays of his shin, and it's like this thick of calcified bone over his shin. So he doesn't feel anything. And he gave me people thought I was lying. He gave me a bone contusion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I had it for 8 months. People were like, you're exaggerating. I had a knot on my shin, and it was a bump, like a hard bump for like 8 months it took to go away.
And I wonder about that, like in fighting. Like, I mean,
how do they keep fighting? I would be like, I'm done.
Wild.
I'm
Like,
done.
Think about.
it'd be like, that's a warning. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
but, like I always think about that. Like, it's enough just to get in there and do what they do, but when they're dealing with that shit,
Yeah.
and you've just got to keep fucking going. Oh my God. Like, even when the last fight, here's a video of you interviewing the current champion,
Oh,
John
John.
Jones. He's a funny guy, though,
He's hilarious.
right?
Yeah, he's hilarious. I don't think people really get to see that side of him, though.
No,
He's very
probably not.
sarcastic. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's very, he's very sarcastic. He's very funny.
But when he
that was a good interview. That
kicked
was fun.
Stipe, I mean, how many ribs did he break on that kick?
You know, he practiced that kick, I want to say like, what was it, 3 to 6 hours a week for a very long time.
Yeah, well, it
The
worked
spinning
out.
back kick. Yeah, because he's like, I'm not a knockout artist. Like, I'm not known for my knockouts. So what do I? He said the spinning back kick is one of the hardest, like, kicks, even punch that you can do. So he's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna perfect it, and he perfected it. It's insane, the mentality behind, like, I'm gonna do something, and I'm gonna do it so well that I'm gonna practice it every day for years.
I mean, I feel like you just opened up the show with that, though.
Yeah.
Like you were gonna do something with your social media, with your shows, and you did
Yeah.
it the best you could. I mean,
That's
that's
right.
just it's all that's
right.
that kind of drive. You know, that's why you're successful. That's why he's the greatest of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah. Good. He's very good.
Tell us something about Sean Strickland that nobody knows.
Dude, he's a nice person.
I know he is.
He hates when I call him nice.
I know.
He feels like every time I say he's a nice guy, like it takes away his like manhood. And I'm like, but you are a nice person.
He has such a big heart.
He's my most supportive friend.
Yeah.
Like I have like he's people don't see that side of him because he's he's also Sean Strickland. Like he just is who
Well,
he
he's a
is,
loose
and people.
cannon.
He's definitely a loose cannon, but he's well intentioned. People will be like,
Why are
yeah,
you
okay.
laughing at that? Well intentioned.
Because he is well intentioned.
He's well intentioned.
He has like good intentions.
Yeah.
But it's funny. It's like the delivery needs a little work, but the messaging is there. You know, it's there. He means well. Like, you know him.
Very well.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. He really is.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And he shows up, and he shows up for his friends. You know what's funny?
He loves Monster Energy too. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he
every time
does.
he goes like he goes out with Axel Hodges and the boys now, and he's like a little fucking kid.
Yeah,
You know, when he gets
he's a
through
kid.
those things, he is very appreciative, and he's very fitting for the brand. I'll say that.
Yeah, he's a good person.
This next fight's a big one
Oh yeah, for Sean.
because technically
I don't know why they.
he won. I mean, he pretty much won. It's right. The last time they fought,
Yeah.
he got fucked. I feel like.
Yeah, Sean's I keep telling him, I'm like, you gotta fucking knock these motherfuckers out so
Yeah.
people don't doubt you,
Yeah.
you know? And like, all love to Dreykus. I love Dreykus. But with Sean, I'm like, stop giving them the decision
Yeah.
because there are people on there that don't get on board with the things you say. Especially like during the press conference. And here's the thing. Like I said, the messaging's there, but the delivery's off and people aren't willing to listen.
Yeah.
And they get so upset with how he says things or that they don't actually hear what he's saying.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes it's like, I get it. It's like he puts these little statements out that are like tweets. And it's like, you got to finish the thought, you know, finish the thought. How'd you get there? What? And then people will understand like, oh, okay, well, he didn't mean like women should only stay in the kitchen. He's like, that's what he said to fit on a shirt, you know, a woman in every kitchen, a gun in every hand.
Yeah.
Australia hated that. I mean, Australia hates a lot of things. But they
Australia's
love
weird,
the
like-
people love Sean.
Yeah,
And he speaks for the people. They
Yeah.
didn't like that.
yeah. Australia is not like a gun place.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
actually even have guns.
America. We do.
Oh, I know I know there are guns here. Like we have guns, but it's in a different way. Australia, yes. You know what? It's as somebody that grew up there, it's so crazy because like most Australians that you meet are wild and outgoing and just
Yeah.
fucking like you're like a ball in a china shop type style.
Yeah.
But we have rules and regulations that when you go there, it's like
So many rules.
you're just like, what the fuck? Like,
You know what's
places
funny?
It's absolutely like you would think that it's the people that set our rules up and the way that our country is when you get there. It's the complete opposite of what you would actually think.
Yeah, I know. They detained him when he got there.
Yeah. Well, really?
Really?
Yeah.
For
For being himself. No, they like detained him right when they got there. He was in he was in whatever, in a box. I don't know what the fuck
for?
you guys have. I don't know. He couldn't get in for a long time. Then he punched a fan.
Yeah. See, he does dumb shit.
yeah.
Yeah, but he's well intentioned because the fan. Listen to me, Dingo.
Yeah.
The
I'm
fan
listening.
triggered him, went up to him as a fan, and then was like, Dreykus is going to knock you the fuck out. In his face. So disrespectful.
Yeah.
That kid deserved a gut shot.
Yeah.
Take it. Here's the thing. Like I said, the delivery might be off, but the messaging is there. And he's also, you know what? He reads people very well.
Yeah. He's very intelligent.
Very,
He's
very.
a fuck around and find out kind of guy.
Yeah,
100%.
MGK
Fuck around
knows.
and find out.
Yeah.
MGK knows all about
I
it.
got stuck in
Fuck
the middle.
around and you did get stuck in the middle. But he turned around and he was like, who's this guy? Didn't know who he was. He's like, he's a vampire.
Oh, he did that to MGK?
Yeah, at the power slap. You don't know the story?
No, I don't know the story.
Can I tell the story?
You can tell a story.
Yeah.
I love this story. Okay, so we're at Power Slap. Sean had a really good time. He had a really good event. It was like, he has like a 2-hour max. After that, he kind of like fizzles out, and he had like a few influencers. They invited a bunch of influencers there. So they were all asking him like really dumb questions, and he was kind of like reaching his social ceiling, his breaking point. But overall, he didn't try to jump anyone or punch anyone in the stands or anything like that. So we're all on our way out. I'm sitting up, packing up my stuff because I was sitting in the front. And I turn around, and I see Sean, MGK, Dingo, and my boyfriend. And I'm like, what's going on over there? And I look, and I'm like, oh no. I look at my agent, I look at my videographer, and I'm like, we gotta go. So what happened was when Dingo tried to be so nice, and Dingo's very like, I want you to meet so-and-so, and this is my friend, and this is my buddy, and he's always trying to like bring people together. So he thought it would be a good idea to like introduce Sean to MGK, which, dude, I love you, but I would have told you this not
So Dana told me the same thing.
not a good idea, dude. So he turns around.
Everybody's friends.
He turns around. Sean's like, Dingo's like, I want you to meet MGK. And he's like, who? He turns around and he goes, what the fuck are you dressed as? And he goes, MGK got so offended. But he was dressed as like a vampire. And he turns around and he sees him. And Sean, this is how Sean meets people. He meets people by like insulting you first, and then, is this the right way to do it? No. It's not how you really meet people, but it's how you make friends for life, right? So when he met Dingo, he insulted him first. Now they're friends for life because Dingo laughed it off. He's like, whatever, you know?
What was your
like,
insult?
I forget. That was when I was smacking my belly.
But I mean, listen, he's well intentioned, and he has good intuition. Because look where we are now.
There we go.
That is it. Oh my god.
How do you drop the ball on Megan Fox, dude?
Because
See,
you have weird.
Sean knew something.
Yeah, he knew.
Sean knew something. How do you drop the ball on Megan Fox, dude? Only a vampire would do such a thing.
Okay, we're kind of wrapping up. What do you... We kind of have the fire round.
Yeah, I like the fire. The fire round's fun. She'll be good at it.
Let's hit the fire round.
Hit me with a fire.
All right, we're gonna ask you some questions. You're gonna answer quickly.
Okay.
Favorite fight you've ever attended?
Ah, fuck. Favorite fight I've ever attended. I want to say 276 because that's kind of what started my. That's what started my career in MMA. That was when Alex knocked out Sean. Sorry, bro. Two of my favorite people, but yeah, Sean got lit up in that one. But then it just then Alex just
Are they
took
friends?
off. Yeah, they're friends. They train together. It's a beautiful thing. They got like a good relationship.
It's so crazy to me how fighters are like that.
Yeah. Well, Sean's the only one like willing to get in and like.
That's just respect for the sport they're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're professionals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. And they learn.
Craziest moment backstage at a fight.
Craziest moment backstage. I don't have any of those. Oh, craziest moment. I don't have anything like crazy.
What about when Conor threw the dolly at the bus? Were you there?
Oh no, I wasn't there for that.
All right, I'll take that one.
That would have
That's
been
it.
fun. That would have been fun.
I
Well,
got
no,
one.
I don't.
Yep.
Violent.
How does it feel winning MMA Personality of the Year award?
That was cool.
That's really cool.
That was cool. I was hoping, but I wasn't expecting.
Who's your competition?
It was stiff. I was so shocked. It was Chael Sonnen,
Yeah.
Bruce Buffer, DC, and Joe Rogan.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, trust me. I thought it was so cool. You know what's funny? The haters are so fucking loud on the internet, but my supporters, they really go hard for me, and I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
You know, kindness doesn't, hate so loud. They get so active in the comments. I don't know why I trigger so many people. Just being myself, man.
Just the world.
That's
it's
why.
the world we live in.
They're so crazy. But it's okay.
Yeah.
I love it all. I'm here for it all. You got to take
You
the good
need
with the
'em.
bad.
Yeah.
No,
Of
you
course.
can't, no, you can't win them all. Really.
I've never been lied on so much my whole life. I learned something new about myself every day.
Yeah, wow.
Welcome to the life of a ring girl. We were lied
Dude,
on a
yeah.
lot.
A lot,
Yeah, for
dude.
sure.
The fuck?
Okay, favorite city to cover a UFC fight?
Brazil.
Ooh.
That Brazil is fun. I love Brazil. I want to go back as soon as possible. I think
I've
we're
never
gonna
been to Brazil.
Dude,
Really?
it's so
Yeah.
good. It's so the people are like you go there and you're like, wow, they're living.
I could see you going to Carnival.
Yeah. Festival.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Carnival or Mardi Gras, dude.
Yeah.
You can
I
do
always
both.
feel like, yeah, I need to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say a fighter who surprised you the most during an interview.
I mean, they all surprised me.
Yeah.
Definitely. Tom, that one surprised me.
Why?
Because I should have asked him, did anyone ever suck you off?
Yeah,
like,
that's
what?
really a great
Right?
response.
Like, what
Imagine.
kind of, imagine if he's like, yeah. I'm like, what the, I didn't expect it to go this far. Whoa. Interview's over. No, I mean, there's so many great ones. Like, it's fun, even when interviewing Alex, it's like he started off as like stone cold, no emotion, and the more you get to know him and like the more you pull out of him, he's like a really funny person. Like he has so much charisma, and it's cool because it's like we don't even speak the same language yet. Like he knows how to convey what he's feeling or what he's thinking just by
Yeah.
like existing. It's really cool. So it's been cool to like get to know a lot of these
I also
fighters.
think that you're helping a lot of these fighters in media training because a lot of it they don't get taught media training. They're learning how to fight, and
Yeah,
so when
sure.
you're there, when you're comfortable and you're
Uh-huh.
like you're reading them and you're kind of helping them, directing like on what is going to be the clickbait or just like getting them to be comfortable. You're helping them a lot. It really does.
I hope I think well, definitely when it comes to like social, like a lot of them whenever they need help with social stuff, like I usually try to help them how to film, when to do this, how to do that, like any way that I can, I try.
You're heavily involved kind of in Power Slap now as well. How's that been?
Fucking wild ride, dude.
It is wild.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely a different crowd from UFC.
Yeah.
And I think like your core UFC fan or fighter like is not a fan of Power Slap, or maybe not a fan. It's just like
Sure.
something that they don't respect,
Sure.
which is totally understandable. But as a
hard to
business and like watching like Dana, like those guys like
Yeah.
build that out
Mm-hmm.
in such a quick way. And again, we live in a time where people have, it's people have 15-second attention spans, and watching
It's
somebody get
working.
slapped on the internet.
A lot of the times it's like I promote Power Slap one because it's like part of the UFC. Of course, I'm going to support Power Slap, but I think at the end of the day, it's like the numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah.
So whether you hate it or you love it, the numbers are insane. People are like, where are you getting all these numbers? Just go to the chat, go to the page, go to their Instagram, their YouTube, their TikTok. the numbers are astronomical.
Yep.
And people think Dana's just making these numbers up. You can research everyone's analytics. You can research them. You can go and research all of these channels and stuff, and people are watching. And what I notice is people who are like apprehensive of the sport or critical of it in the beginning, or whatever you want to call it, when they go to the fight and they watch it live, that's when their opinion's like, all right, well, that's kind of cool. Because it's shocking. Every time you watch it, you're like, I shouldn't want to see this, but I do. Like,
I'm the same.
it's insane. Yeah, you're like, do I feel bad, or am I,
Yeah.
you know, like, or is this
I
entertainment?
can't watch, but
You're like,
I
oh,
can't not
okay,
watch.
well,
Well, do the last question. That's a really good one that a fan asked. What's a personal goal or project you're working on right now that your followers don't know about yet?
yeah. Well, we're okay.
We only got a
Should
couple
I-
minutes. We're
We're
wrapping.
out.
Oh, okay. Wow, it was so fast.
It goes really quick.
That was so fast.
But something
Answer.
you're working on that a fan that
Should I mention
don't know.
the what I was talking about earlier? Okay, so this is something that I'm working on, and it's going to happen next year in 2025. I was like, okay, how do I level up the type of content? Because I don't want to drain. You can't drain blood from a stone.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, so what do I give like the audience that they haven't seen before? Like, how can I level up the content so that they like it and it's different? So I'm going to start traveling to all of the fighters' countries.
I like that.
Nice.
And we're gonna go to Brazil, we're gonna go to Georgia, I'm trying to go to Kazakhstan, we're gonna go all over
like
South
that.
Africa,
Going on
we're
the
gonna
road.
go Mexico, everywhere, and we're gonna do day in the life and fight blogs in their country.
Perfect.
Get to know them, no one take my fucking idea.
I'll watch
There
it.
you go.
No one has
Guys,
your personality.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Brittney.
Thank you so much for
everyone in
having
the
me.
chat. Nina,
Thank you.
You are fucking awesome. Keep
I
doing
appreciate you.
you.
Thank you so much,
and,
Dingo.
We'll have you back on.
Thank you, Brittney.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Monster. Thanks, guys.